Hello guys. So, this is the first time I'm ever doing a video without you seeing me.
Guys.
Okay. And y'all can hear me cuz I'm checking. So, yeah, this is the first time I'm doing a video with no picture of myself. But you guys know what I look like. Say hi in the chat, everybody. Hi. Um yeah, so I'm going to wait a few seconds before I get started. But before I get started, I'm going to talk about why vetting is so important. And if you did not see my first video, I would highly recommend you go see that first video where I'm talking about vetting. I will leave a link after I finish. So, first of all, let me say this. Vetting is a critical examination of something. I know in the last video, somebody asked me, they were like, well, what's vetting? Well, it's just a critical examination, looking at something for what it is and making sure that whatever it is that you are desiring to have um, is something that you should actually pursue or have in your life. So I'm going to just wait a few seconds and we're going to get started because I went live kind of early. And we're going to talk about some very important things tonight. I only have 3 points tonight. This is going to be a pretty short video. And I think I'm going to do these vlogcast. I don't know if we can call it a podcast because, it's not on Apple, but I think it's like a vlog cast. And I think I'm going to come do a couple of vlog cast because I think it's important sometimes for you not to see me, but for you just to hear me. Because I think a lot of people concentrate on the wrong thing. I think a lot of women concentrate on the delivery. A lot of times I'll get women say to me, well, you're kind of harsh when you said that. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not sympathetic to it because here's the thing. We all get our dose in this life, okay? Some people are going to get it in the love department. They're going to go through terrible situations in the love department because maybe they weren't equipped with the skills to select a spouse. Or things happen and people change. So some people will get it in the love department. Others will get it in the financial department. Some people will get their hard times in the career department. But no matter who you are, I can guarantee you, you're going to go through hard situations, heartbreaking situations in life. No one is going to escape that. So when people tell me, oh, it's your delivery or whatever, when I'm really a sweet person, you guys know I'm an educator. I know how to turn it on and turn it off, especially with a difficult job like being a teacher. I feel like those people really just don't want to hear the message anyway, because we know a lot of women are in denial about a lot of things. And I know that because there have been times when I was in denial. I was in denial about being overweight, accepting myself overweight and saying that that's cute and we winning. And I had to take a reflective look at myself and kind of try now to reclaim some of the time that I wasted. Um, I'm trying to look at myself reflectively. And so this is what I will say. I will be coming to you to talk to you like this. So you don't have to look at me. You can just listen. Okay. You can listen sometimes. And then sometimes I'll come on camera and I'll be here for you to look at and for us to interact. But I think one thing I've learned is not to listen to the delivery, is to listen to the message. So whenever someone is speaking, I listen for the message. What am I supposed to take from this? How will I improve from this? And so we're going to talk about vetting tonight. Now, if you saw my post on Instagram, I gave you the definition of vetting, but I'm going to do it one more time before we get started. Essentially, vetting is basically just a critical examination of something, okay? A careful examination, a critical examination. So the mistake that I feel a lot of women are making is they are letting their heart lead them down a path of disaster in some situations. They are letting their emotions lead them down a path of becoming single mothers, getting left, being an eternal girlfriend, shacking up. And that all those things are okay if you don't desire for someone to actually honor you and make an honest woman out of you. So this platform, White People Life, is not for everyone. It is not for everyone. It is only for women who know in their hearts they desire a committed spouse who is going to love, provide, cherish, and someone whom they know that they can build a life with. It is for those women who know that their womb is valuable. Our wombs are valuable. You know, that place where we are able to carry children. And to be able to give a man a child is to give him the greatest gift. And why women continually give men the greatest gift that they can give a man all willy-nilly is really beyond me. But I'm here to help the young ones and some of the old ones that need a little encouragement, that need a little direction. Because, you know, sometimes we don't get the direction that we need when we are growing up or when we're on the pathway of life. And so we're all on the journey to learn something. I have mentors that I look up to, older women that I look up to, that I aspire to not be like, but I aspire to have the qualities that they have, whether it be women who have great style or women who have been married for 30 years. And I'm looking at their relationship like, wow, what are y'all putting into it to be able to make it this long, whether it's career goals. You guys know I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always leveling up, making more money, doing different things, learning different things, meeting different people, networking. So only a person, listen, let me say it like this. You can't be an intelligent person if you don't open up yourself to learn and to hear people's perspectives, whether you agree with them or whether you don't. So let's get started. In my last video, I talked about a couple of things. I talked about the importance of meeting families. I talked about, you know, various things about not being tricked by how people treat you when you first meet them, because it's probably not the real them. It's probably just them trying to get with you, you know, because we all put on a little air when we first meet people, or you should. You know, people who have self-respect don't show their whole personality upon meeting someone. You kind of show people part of your personality until you trust them. And then you start revealing more things about yourself, okay? So there are 3 points that I want to make very clear. And I don't know if I tapped on them in the first video, but it doesn't matter. I want to talk about these things. And the first one is boundaries. I think one of the things that women do not do is have boundaries, okay? When you are just meeting a man, and whether you're young or whether you're old, this will not change. When you're just meeting a man, he doesn't need to know everything about you, okay? You know, he doesn't need to know, you know, your whole life story, everything that ever happened to you in life, how many men you've slept with. Like he doesn't need to know all of these things. You know, if you're not a virgin, you don't need to tell him that. He has not earned any of that information. And I feel like a lot of times women talk too much. They just talk too much. You know, I feel like there needs to be a point where you say to yourself, okay, I don't know this man. I'm getting to know him. So there are some boundaries that I need to set up. He doesn't need to know your whole life story on the first date or on the first interaction. He doesn't need to know everything about you because you're trusting someone that you don't know. And so that's why it baffles me how people can jump in bed with someone on the first or second night. That's a very strange way to use your feminine or womanly femininely. That's a very strange way to use your womanly parts, to just open them up to strangers. And in the same way, a stranger does not need to know everything about you. They don't need to know where you live. They don't need to know, like I said, your whole life story, everything that ever happened to you. I mean, there needs to be some boundaries that you set when you meet men. And I can remember meeting my husband very young. Y'all know I got married very young and we met even younger. So I can remember being like 22 years old and like us just being friends. Like really, really just friends for a long time. I mean, that energy was there, that chemistry was there, that sexual attraction was there. Like it was all there. It was all there. But we kind of put that at bay, okay? There was no sex, there was no kissing, there was no touching, for months. Like we kind of just hung out and held hands, and well, we might have started kissing after like maybe the first or second month. I don't know, but we definitely were not having sex. So I think that women need to really set boundaries for themselves, even with the way you talk to men and what you dress, how you dress. When you go on a date and you're wearing a super revealing outfit, you are sending the man's mind automatically to sex. Okay. And a masculine man, let me tell you, is already overtly sexual. Masculine men are overtly sexual, meaning like sex is like very high on their priority list. That's a way to release their energy. They are overtly sexual. So they really don't need you to come looking like you're about to work the block. Okay. Just a nice, feminine, sexy outfit, a pretty dress, if you're young, jeans are fine. Just depends on your age, where you're at in as a woman in life. No leggings. We'll talk about that on Naturally Fashionable. But this is Wifey for Lifey, so we'll stay on topic. But you just don't need to be overtly sexual because sexual tension is always there between men and women. And so I think that there needs to be boundaries in what you wear when you first start dating someone, boundaries in the conversations you're having. Like you shouldn't be talking about sex. Like that's just not something to talk about. He doesn't need to know anything about your sexual life. And really, you don't need to know anything about his sexual life because please believe me, it's going to reveal itself. It's going to reveal itself in time. Reputation is something that people cannot escape. You can't escape your reputation. You can't escape what people already know about you. So these things are going to come out. Okay. And if y'all have any opinions or ideas, please feel free. I can see the chat. So if you have a question or want to add, or you don't agree or you disagree, it's disagreeing is totally fine, but we just need to stay respectful. So boundaries are so important because if you don't set boundaries, you will find yourself like so many women compromising yourself, meaning you don't want to do something, but you find yourself doing it because you say you're in love. Okay. And this is not what you want to do because love does not make you compromise yourself. True love would never make you do anything that you're uncomfortable with doing. And so it's funny to me because women will never admit to you that they're compromising. They would just tell you, oh, I don't want to get married. I never wanted to get married. Marriage is not for everyone, which I feel that's true. I really do believe that, but I feel that's a very small population of women that really believe that they should give everyone everything and not have any kind of legal protection, or um, just knowing that someone is saying, hey, I want to spend my life with you. There are very few women that actually feel that way. Very small population of women, because women are natural by nature. We are nurturers, and we like to nurture, and we like to love, and we like to take care of people. And that's why God gave us the job of having children, because that's natural. That's our natural role, and that's the roles that we thrive in. So, I think you have to be real with yourself and set boundaries in how people talk to you, boundaries in conversations that you're uncomfortable with, boundaries in how soon you touch, how close a man is sitting to you, or him trying to kiss you, or whatever. Like, there should be boundaries. And when you feel uncomfortable, you should never remain in a situation where you feel uncomfortable. That should always be really clear. And so if you want to know how to get rid of the men who don't mean you any good, get rid of the men who are not going to step up to the plate and really be honest, hardworking, high quality men, well, get some boundaries. And don't be afraid to speak out on your boundaries. Now, don't do it in a very masculine, unattractive way. Keep it light. Keep it light, keep it airy, keep it funny. Don't, become very combative. That's very masculine. I believe that's why a lot of women in today's society are single, because they're very aggressive. And I can say that personally because I was very aggressive. I am aggressive. That it's not even a thing of the past. I can be very aggressive, and I'm very assertive, and I'm very sure of myself, and I'm very opinionated. And that's good when you know where to place it. But sometimes it's not good when you're trying to build a relationship, because it's very masculine, and men are not attracted to masculine. They're attracted to feminine. And so when you do set boundaries, there is a way to do it without being combative, aggressive, loud, obnoxious. You have to learn how to set boundaries without crossing the line. And that takes time and practice, especially if you were raised in a house where you don't have the dynamic of a mother and a father, and you did not see that dynamic. And if the dynamic that you saw was a very domineering mother who was yelling and screaming and cursing, well, you might pick up that habit as well. But I can guarantee you, for a masculine man, I'm not talking about feminine men. And when I say feminine, I don't mean gay, but I mean men who really don't understand what it means to be a man, maybe because they were not raised by a man. So it's very hard to be a man, whatever that is, because I'm not a man. But I would assume it's very hard to be a man when you were raised by a woman. And a lot of these men out here are raised by women. And that's an issue, because then they also pick up those feminine traits and qualities that women have, such as being argumentative, being over emotional. If you find men like that, I can almost probably guarantee you they will probably they have more feminine energy, or the mother was very domineering in some way. And so when you set boundaries, I'm not telling you to be motherly, I'm not telling you to be aggressive. I'm just telling you to tell people flat out, okay, that's not, I just met you. Like, you don't need to know that, keep it light, but you have to have boundaries. Boundaries as to when people can touch you. Boundaries is when when you decide to, reveal things about yourself. And if you don't have boundaries, that's your first problem. You have not vetted a man completely if you don't set the boundaries, because that's how he knows how to interact with you and how not to interact with you. Okay, second thing is watch how the men that you deal with, because if you're dating, you might be dating one or two guys, and I don't mean having sex. Having sex is not dating, that's having sex. Okay, you might have one or two guys who are interested in you, and you're deciding who to date. um you know I believe it's hard to date two or three men. It really sounds to me loose. Because when you're dating, you really need to focus all your attention on one person, but you can't do that until you're exclusive. So I wouldn't even call that step before dating. I would just call it vetting. So I would say the step before dating is vetting. And vetting is deciding who you're going to date or who you're going to give your time to. So I would say when you're vetting the guy, before y'all say, okay, we're going to be exclusive, whatever, you really need to like watch how this man acts. And I think I might have touched on this topic in the first video that I did on vetting men, but you really need to watch like how he deals with things. And when I say with things, I mean like how he deals with success, how he deals with failure, how he deals with frustration, um things of that nature, because that's going to give you a inside look into how this man may be when you are dating them, or if possibly y'all decide to go into an exclusive relationship that's going to lead to marriage. And this is one thing that I didn't know prior to getting married. I didn't know that there were things about my husband that would come out that would be, like, oh, okay, I didn't know this is how you were, or I didn't know that these things affect you, or I didn't know you thought this way. And so it's better to get these things out in the open early and pay very close attention to how a man deals with failure, frustration, and success, because that is going to be a clear indicator into their leadership skills as the head of the home, as a provider, and as someone that you should be able to look to as your support system. Because that is the perk of being married. You have a support system to fall back on. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to be an independent woman. You could be an independent woman in the sense of you have your own career, you have your own business, but you're not on this life journey by yourself when you have someone who is stepped up to the plate and who has said, you know what, you're my wife. You're my wife. You are the only woman I want to be with forever. You are the woman I want to love forever. You are the woman I want to take care of. You are the reason why I go to work and do what I do. And then you also have to be individual people. So you can't be one with your husband as like y'all are just one person, but y'all are one when it comes to the goals of the relationship. And if you are dealing with a person, if you're dealing with a person who can't deal with the highs and lows of life well, you're probably in for a rocky road. All right. Okay, last point before I get out of here. Ambition. I really ambition with action. Okay. I'm not talking about ambition with their mouth. Like, oh, I want to start my own company one day, or oh yeah, I always wanted to invest in the stock market, or oh yeah, I really like this, or whatever. No, I mean ambition through their actions. I can remember when me and my husband were dating. One of the things that I really loved about him as I reflect back to that time in my life, even as a young, dumb, young girl who was totally head over heels in love, he was my first love. And I really was, before that, I had never, really felt the way I felt. But he was always so responsible about going to class. Like that was one thing that really stuck out to me. It was like when it was time to go to class, like no matter what he was doing, it doesn't matter if he was chilling, if he was doing his recreational activities with his friends and his fraternity brothers, if we were talking, if we were hanging out, it really didn't matter. He always went to class. He just always got up and was like, oh, I got to go to class. It's time to go to class. And he was a biology major. And, it was important to be in class. Like, that's not the kind of major you can just like, not go to class, because there are concepts that you have to put together. And he always went to class. And so I feel like using that as an example of the ambition that he had to be the best version of himself. He was in college, he knew what he was in college for, and he actually went to class. So to me, because I knew I was going to marry my husband from the time I met him, I can say, like, from the first week, it is so, when I look it back now, it's so crazy, but I knew he was my husband. Like, from the first couple of weeks, I knew that this was the man that I was going to marry. I didn't tell him that because that would be weird and very, like, odd to tell someone. But in my heart, I felt like, oh, this is my husband. This is going to be my husband. I felt it because his character really shined through in our conversations. He was very respectful. He was very down to earth. He was not loud. He was not trying to impress people. My husband has never been somebody who tried to impress people. He could care less what people think. Like, I just knew from his energy, but I wasn't sure yet. So we had to go through the natural steps of dating. But what I'm trying to tell you is ambition is very important, because this could mean you having to pay all the bills and have a man for what, versus having a man that is going to come in and handle all of your needs and make your life easier. Because when you get with somebody who doesn't have ambition, these are not the type of men that are going to go to school and further their education or take grand opportunities that will help them, grow their net worth or start their own businesses on the side and, build, a legacy for their family and for the future. Like, a man that doesn't have ambition is never going to do this. He's just going to go into a job and that's all he's going to do. He's not going to go the step further to try to earn more money, to be better, to grow, to expand. And depending on what you like to do, because we're all different as women, some of us like to travel, some of us like the arts, some of us are more cultural, some of us, really don't want to travel, but we want to have a nest egg. We want to be comfortable as we get older. If you have a man that lacks ambition, well, this is going to be a problem in their relationship. And you can't see it when you're all lovey-dovey. It's too late. It's too late after you're all lovey-dovey and you didn't laid up with him and had his kids, but he didn't commit to you, or you didn't laid up with him and he ain't made you any promises about the future or what he's going to do, or you didn't really get to know his family, get to know him, get to know his personality, and you jumped too quick in the bed with him, or you jumped too quick into a relationship, and he didn't earn it. He didn't earn it. So that's the purpose of vetting. A man should have to earn the right to be in a relationship with you. Because I know there are a lot of beta males on YouTube and in the world saying, beta and feminine males who say they are the prize, but that is the most stupidest, unbiblical thing I've ever heard in my life. It's not true. Men are not the prize, and men have never been the prize. Women are the prize, but not all women. To be a prize, you actually have to carry yourself with the respect and dignity that a woman would actually carry herself with. You have to be an asset. And we talked about that in one of my YouTube videos, well, my latest YouTube video over on Naturally Fashionable, when I was interviewing one of the beautiful ladies from To Rome for Love. And To Rome for Love is a reality show where women went to Rome to date men to look for love. Now, she didn't find love, but we talked about how when she came back, she got with the guy that she's with now. And she was saying how this guy, he was so fine. And, she was like, he's so handsome. And, he's accomplished. I think she said he was a politician and that he was a really good guy. And we were talking about how you have to be an asset and not a liability. If you want a man to come in and take care of things for you, take care of things financially, take care of things when there's a problem, so many times I've had so many problems and my husband has come in and cleaned that mess right on up without a question. There was no question of, like, I don't want to do this, or I'm not interested in doing this. Like, no, he has cleaned up so many messes for me. He has stepped up in so many ways, progressed. His ambitious nature has really been revealed over the years of us being together. And that is all through taking the time to make a man earn the gift of even being a part of your life. And women just don't do that now because I guess maybe the fear of being lonely. I will totally admit that a lot of men now just don't understand what it means to be a man, to be a husband. And some women might say, well, why is that? Well, because it's the decline of morals. Anytime you have a society where nobody has any morals, it's a hookup culture, it's a sleep with him girl, you got slut walk, you got, everybody just kind of being super sexual in a society where everybody's over sexualized and where it's like marriage means nothing. Oh, because I don't want to be with you, I'll just get a divorce. When anytime you live in a society like that, of course there's going to be a decline in good quality men. So believe me, I'm not delusional to the fact that there's a lack of quality men, but there are good men. There are high quality men, and you have to be able to compete with the other women that stand above the rest, because a high quality man doesn't just marry anybody. Okay. A high quality man is also looking for another high quality woman. They don't just marry anybody. This is why you can see a man have a whole family, 3, 4 kids with a woman, be with her for 7, 10 years and turn right around, leave them all and get married to somebody else the next day. Because men are not emotional like women. They're not. And they can detach very quickly and very easily. And so that's why the beautiful thing about marriage is we all bring something to the table. The man has to know his role, the woman has to know her role. And that's why the idea of gender roles, I guess, scare people, or society is kind of trying to do away with gender roles. But let me tell you, and I'm going to end on this note, and y'all can leave whatever questions y'all have or thoughts y'all have in the chat or the replay, the people who are going to come back and watch this. Let me tell you this. When you go against gender roles, you're going against yourself. Let me repeat that. When you go against gender roles, you go against yourself. You're basically telling your man, we are equal. Okay. We're equal. Not making yourself the prize. You were telling him we are equal. And that means I'm going to bring 50% of the bills. I'm going to, be just like the man. Like, you don't have to open doors for me. You don't have to take the trash out. You don't have to, do those masculine things that I don't want to do. You don't have to treat me special. You don't have to give me special treatment. You don't have to consider the fact that I have a cycle every month and that I'm tired and I don't feel like doing that. You don't have to consider the fact that I'm just a woman and I'm the weaker vessel and I need you to come in and handle stuff. So you give up your right to be feminine when you're trying to compete with men and say, I'm the man, because we don't need to compete with men. We're women. We have the advantage of being women. We don't have to compete with men because men do what men do and women do their own thing. We all have special qualities that we bring to the relationship that do not compete with each other. So when you're trying to be dominant and trying to prove to everyone that you're independent and you can do it on your own and you can take care of your kids on your own and you don't need no man, it looks foolish. It looks foolish because who would want to pay bills when they don't have to? I don't understand. Why would anybody choose to be independently paying for anything when you don't have to? When there are men out here who are just waiting to scoop up a high quality woman. But the truth is, there are not a lot of high quality women. High quality is not opening your legs online, or always feeling like you got to be in some sexy outfit, or always trying to get attention and always trying to cuss people out and keep it real. And, that's not high quality. What everybody's a queen these days. I think I told y'all that in one of these videos. Everybody's a queen, but everybody's not a queen. And a lot of men are way more conservative than you think when it comes to family and relationships. A lot of people are sexually free. Yeah, sexually irresponsible. Don't plan children. Don't do things like that. But let me tell you, but when it comes time to get married and settle down, all of a sudden they're traditional. So don't let these men fool you. Okay. Don't let them fool you that they like, and yet some men, but I would say a majority of men that are high quality, because remember, we're not talking about dusty bums or people who have no moral compass at all. We're not talking about dusty bums who have no moral compass. We're talking about high quality men who were raised in pretty good homes, who are probably educated, either educated in college or educated with a specific trade or skill that they have, where they have been able to create their own business, a real business. Okay. We're not talking about like just what they call them Pookie and Ray Ray. Okay. We're talking about like men that are educated, that have things going for themselves. They can be sexually loose and free too. But I guarantee you, when it's time to settle down, that ain't who they're looking for. That's not who they're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for somebody that can be an asset to them. Just like women, we should be looking for a man that is an asset to us, to your life, to your lifestyle. If you got a man, your life shouldn't be that hard. It just shouldn't. Even being a mother, you should be getting help. You shouldn't be working like a dog. Because why did you give this man a child and you got to be out here in these streets working like a dog? So I think it's time for women to really take a reflective look at their lives, especially for my young women who are just starting out in life. Don't get yourself locked down and caught up with a no good man who is not going to be an asset to you as you age. Because see, now that I'm in my 30s, going into my 40s in a very few short years, oh my God, I'm so glad I picked well. Because now it's like I get to choose. I get to choose how hard I work. I get to choose how I spend my time. And all that comes from picking quality. We have to start vetting these men and stop giving them access to our wombs, giving them access to our bodies, and giving them access to control our lives when they have not earned any of that. That's why I don't support shacking up. It's a very bad thing to do. It's a risky thing to do. And women who get played in that way, I'm sorry, I do not feel sorry for women who get standing there with no ring, but all they got was years of shacking up, because that's a poor decision. It's a poor decision to shack up with a man who is not committed to you. It is a poor decision to have children by people who are not your husband. And whether women want to admit that or not, it does not change the fact that we're going to have to change some of our behavior as women if we're going to get what we want out of our relationships. Because this channel is for women. It's not for men. This channel is for women so that we can live our best lives and go back to the days where women could be women and we could use that to our advantage. Nowadays, women want to compete with men. Of course, that's foolish because you shouldn't have to compete with no man. But it is what it is. And that's all I have to say about that. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for joining me for tonight's vlog cast. And yeah, I'll be doing more videos like this. Please like, share, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. If you are a wifey for lifey, or if you are a future wifey for lifey, and you know you're going to be married one day because you're going to hold yourself to high esteem and vet these men and make sure that they are really here for you. Nothing else. Not so you can pay their bills, not so you can help them purchase something, not so they can use your body. You need to be getting something out of the deal of love, because love is a two-way street. It's reciprocation. And when I look around in today's society, I don't know what's going on. It's really ridiculous. But I'm glad we're here as women to talk about this. If you want to join the Wifey for Lifey group, the link is in the description box. It is a private group for wives and for future wives. You don't have to be married to join the group, where we talk about all kinds of things and the complexities of marriages and the ups and downs of marriages and the perks of marriages. And we have a lot of women in the group who give tips and advice, and we do book studies. And I'm about to start a new series in the group. I think it's going to be called The Feminine Wife, because I think women should be getting way more out of their husbands than what they're getting. But if you're not feminine, you can't get what you want out of men. Masculine men. Let me repeat that. Masculine men. But there is a way to get the things that you want out of your marriage and out of your relationships, because men get what they want and they get what they desire. And I want women to be able to get the same thing. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.